If you've ever thrown away a peach, plum, or cherry pit because it sat in soil for 3 months and did absolutely nothing, I need you to stop right now and listen, because the fix isn't a better soil mix, it isn't a fancier pot, and it isn't more patience. It's 1 hour, one simple soak, and I'm going to show you exactly what's in that solution and why it works better than anything else I've tested in years of doing this. Before I get into what's actually in that soak, if you want serious, practical fruit tree growing tips every single week, the kind that come from real dirt, real failures, and real trial and error, not some copy-paste gardening blog, make sure you hit subscribe right now, because what I'm showing you today came from testing this exact method across dozens of pits over multiple seasons, and the results genuinely changed how I start every single tree now. Here's exactly what you're getting out of this video. You're going to learn the specific 1 hour soak that dramatically speeds up germination for peach, plum, and cherry pits. You're going to understand exactly why it works on a biological level, so you're not just blindly following a trick, and you're going to walk away with a step-by-step process you can repeat with almost guaranteed results, even if you've failed at growing fruit trees from pits before. By the end of this, you won't just know what to do, you'll understand why it works, which means you'll be able to troubleshoot it yourself when something looks off. Let's talk honestly about why so many people fail at germinating stone fruit pits in the first place, because this is where almost every mistake starts. The overwhelming majority of people take a pit straight out of the fruit, rinse it off, maybe let it dry for a day, and then either plant it directly in soil or toss it in a bag in the fridge and just wait. And then weeks go by, sometimes months, and nothing happens, or worse, they open the bag and find a moldy, rotten pit that never had a chance. The mistake here isn't laziness, it's a misunderstanding of what that pit actually needs before it's biologically willing to grow. A stone fruit pit isn't just a dry little seed waiting for water. It's a seed wrapped in a genuinely hard, protective shell, and inside that shell is an embryo that's chemically locked in a resting state. Just adding moisture and cold isn't always enough on its own, especially if that outer shell is thick, waxy, or still coated in residual sugars and fruit fibers from processing, because that residue creates the perfect environment for mold to take hold before germination even has a chance to start. This is the exact problem that a proper pre-soak solves, and it's the step almost nobody talks about. So let's get into the actual biology here, because once you understand this, the soak stops feeling like some random gardening trick and starts making complete sense. Every stone fruit pit, peach, plum, cherry, apricot, it doesn't matter which, has natural germination inhibitors built into the outer shell and the seed coat itself. These inhibitors exist for a very good evolutionary reason. They prevent the seed from sprouting too early, like right after it falls off the tree in the middle of summer, when a young seedling would have zero chance of surviving the coming winter. These inhibitors are chemical compounds that essentially tell the embryo not yet, and they need to be broken down or washed away before the seed will commit to growing, even if temperature and moisture conditions are otherwise perfect. On top of that, the outer shell itself is often dense enough that it physically restricts water and oxygen from reaching the embryo at a fast enough rate, which is why some pits can sit in damp soil for months and barely absorb any moisture at all. A proper soak does two things at once. It helps leach out some of those surface-level germination inhibitors, and it hydrates and softens the shell just enough to let water and oxygen penetrate far more efficiently once you move into cold stratification. That's the entire secret. It's not magic, it's just giving the seed a head start on a process that would otherwise take much longer in nature. Now here's exactly what commercial growers and serious seed propagators actually use, and this is the part 1 I want you to write down if you're planning to try this yourself, because getting the details right matters more than people think. The soak I'm talking about is a diluted hydrogen peroxide solution, and I want to walk you through exactly why this specific solution works better than plain water, which is what most home growers default to. Plain water alone does help soften the shell a little, but it does almost nothing to address surface mold spores or bacteria that are already sitting on that pit from the moment it left the fruit. And it barely touches those germination inhibiting compounds sitting right on the seed coat. A diluted hydrogen peroxide soak does both jobs simultaneously. It sanitizes the surface, dramatically cutting down your risk of mold during the following stratification period. And the mild oxidative action actually helps break down some of those surface inhibitors faster than water alone ever could. This is the exact reason commercial nurseries use peroxide-based or similar oxidizing pre-treatments before stratifying large batches of stone fruit seed, because when you're dealing with thousands of pits at once, you cannot afford the mold losses that come from a plain water soak. Let's go through exactly how to do this, step by step, because precision matters here far more than people expect. Step 1. Start with fully ripe fruit and remove the pit immediately after eating, because a pit taken from unripe fruit almost never has a mature embryo capable of germinating regardless of what you do afterward. And this single mistake alone accounts for a huge percentage of failed attempts. Step 2. Clean the pit completely under running water, scrubbing off every trace of fruit flesh with a soft brush, because any leftover sugar residue becomes food for mold spores the moment you introduce moisture, and this step alone prevents a huge number of the failures I mentioned earlier. Step 3. Prepare your soak solution using food-grade hydrogen peroxide diluted with water at roughly a 3% concentration. This is the same strength found in most standard drugstore hydrogen peroxide bottles, so you generally don't even need to dilute it further. Just use it straight from the bottle for this purpose. Step 4. Fully submerge the cleaned pits in this solution in a small glass or plastic container, making sure every pit is completely covered, and let them soak for exactly 1 hour, no longer, because extended exposure beyond that window can start to damage the delicate embryo tissue instead of helping it. Step 5. After the hour is up, remove the pits and rinse them thoroughly under clean water for about 30 seconds each, making sure no peroxide residue remains on the surface before moving to the next stage. Step 6. Pat the pits dry with a clean paper towel and immediately transfer them into your stratification medium. Damp sand mixed with a bit of peat works great, sealed in a bag with a few small air holes, and place that bag in the refrigerator at a consistent temperature between 34 and 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Step 7. Check the bag every 1 to 2 weeks, misting lightly if the medium feels dry. And here's the key difference you'll notice compared to a non-soaked batch. Pits that went through the peroxide soak tend to show that first crack along the seam noticeably faster, often shaving 1 to 2 weeks off the total stratification time compared to identical pits that skip the soak entirely. Let me walk you through what this actually looks like in real life across the 3 fruits in question, because seeing the difference matters more than just hearing me describe it. With peach pits, I ran a side-by-side test. 1 batch soaked for the hour in peroxide before stratification. 1 batch went straight into stratification with just a plain water rinse. The soaked batch showed that telltale seam split at around week 7 to 8, while the unsoaked batch didn't show the same split until closer to week 10. And when I cracked open a few from each group to compare, the soaked embryos looked noticeably plumper and more hydrated at the same point in time. If you're doing this yourself, the thing to watch for is that seam line running down the side of the shell. Once you see even a hairline separation starting to form, that's your visual cue that stratification is nearly complete and you're close to potting. With plum pits, the difference was even more noticeable, honestly, because plum shells are so much harder and denser than peach shells to begin with. In the unsoaked control batch, several of the plum pits showed almost no visible progress even at the 10-week mark, and when I finally cracked a couple open just to check, the embryos inside still looked dry and underdeveloped. The soaked batch, on the other hand, had multiple pits showing that same seam-splitting behavior by around week 9, a meaningful jump ahead of the control group. What I want you to specifically check for with plums is a slight softening you can feel with your fingers when you gently squeeze the pit. A properly hydrated, soaked plum pit that's ready to sprout will give just slightly under firm pressure, whereas an unsoaked, still dormant pit will feel almost like a solid stone with zero give whatsoever. Cherry pits are where this method honestly impressed me the most because cherries have always been the stubborn one in my experience, the fruit that takes the longest and fails the most often when people try growing it from seed. In previous seasons without the peroxide soak, I was routinely seeing germination stretch out to 14 or even 16 weeks, with a noticeably lower overall success rate than peach or plum. With the soaked batch this time around, I saw the first seam cracks appear around week 11 to 12, a real improvement, and more importantly, my overall germination rate across the batch was visibly higher than in previous unsoaked attempts. If you're specifically trying cherries, look closely at the pointed end of the pit first, because in my experience, that's typically where the split begins to show before it's visible anywhere else on the shell. And catching that early sign lets you get the seedling into soil right as the root tip is emerging, instead of after it's already pushed out and potentially damaged during handling. I want to ask you something directly here because I genuinely want to know this before we get into the rest of the video. Have you ever tried soaking your pits in anything before stratifying them, whether it was plain water, peroxide, or something else entirely? Drop the word soaked in the comments if you have tried some version of this before, and if you haven't, drop the word never, because I'm curious how many of you have already stumbled onto some version of this trick on your own, versus how many of you are hearing this for the first time, and it genuinely helps me plan out future testing based on where most of you are starting from. Now let's get into the golden tip, because this is the detail that took me multiple failed batches to figure out, and it's something almost nobody mentions when they talk about soaking pits before stratification. Most people assume that if a 1-hour soak works well, a longer soak must work even better, and this assumption is exactly what ruins otherwise perfectly good pits. What experienced growers understand, and what I learned the hard way after losing an entire batch of plum pits to oversoaking, is that hydrogen peroxide is a mild oxidizer, and while a controlled 1-hour exposure is enough to sanitize the surface and help break down inhibitors without harming the embryo, extending that soak to 2 or 3 hours in an attempt to boost the effect actually starts damaging the delicate tissue right at the embryo's surface, essentially cooking it from the outside in on a microscopic level. The pits from that over-soaked batch looked completely normal on the outside, which is what made it so deceiving. But when stratification time came and went with zero germination across the entire group, I cracked a few open and found embryos that looked discolored and clearly non-viable. The golden rule here is discipline with your timing. Set an actual timer for that 1 hour. Don't eyeball it and pull those pits out right on schedule every single time, because the difference between a soak that helps and a soak that harms comes down to minutes, not hours. Before we wrap up, let's run through the common mistakes I still see people make with this exact method, because avoiding these will make the difference between a successful batch and a disappointing one. Mistake number 1 is using a hydrogen peroxide concentration that's too strong, reaching for higher strength peroxide sold for other purposes instead of the standard 3% drugstore variety, which can severely damage or outright kill the embryo on contact. Mistake number 2 is skipping the thorough rinse after the soak, leaving peroxide residue on the pit surface going into stratification, which can actually interfere with the seed's normal moisture absorption during the following weeks. Mistake number 3 is soaking pits that still have leftover fruit flesh clinging to them, which blocks the solution from making proper contact with the actual shell surface and defeats a big part of the purpose of soaking in the first place. Mistake number 4 is inconsistency with stratification temperature after the soak, letting the refrigerator temperature swing too warm or too cold, which undoes a lot of the head start the soak gave you, because stratification still needs to happen at that steady 34 to 41 degree range to properly finish the job. And mistake number 5, probably the one I see most often, is impatience. People do the soak, see that faster seam split, and assume the seed is instantly ready to plant the moment they see any crack at all, when really you want to wait until you can actually see that root tip, the radical, visibly emerging before you move it into soil, because potting too early before the root has properly emerged often leads to transplant shock that kills an otherwise perfectly viable seedling. If there's one thing I want you to take from this entire video, it's that germinating stone fruit from pits was never actually about luck, and it was never really about waiting long enough either. It's about understanding exactly what that seed is chemically and physically blocked by, and removing that blocker in a controlled, deliberate way, instead of just hoping time and moisture alone will get the job done. That 1-hour soak isn't some gimmick or shortcut that cuts corners. It's addressing the actual biological barrier standing between you and a germinated seed. And once you understand that, you'll never look at a fruit pit the same way again. Every peach, plum, and cherry pit you've ever eaten, passed, and tossed in the trash had exactly this same potential sitting locked inside it, waiting for someone to give it exactly what it needed instead of just what was convenient. If this kind of tested, field-proven method is what you come to this channel for, don't just watch and move on. Subscribe now so you catch every single upload, because next week I'm taking the seedlings from this exact soaked batch and putting them head-to-head against store-bought nursery saplings to see which ones actually establish faster in the ground and which ones produce their first real fruit sooner. And honestly, based on what I'm seeing so far, that comparison might completely change how you think about starting your next orchard. Stay subscribed, keep those notifications on, because you do not want to miss that one.